Welcome to Planet Marzipan Podcast,
your fish and Marillion podcast,
where we talk about all things in the planet of Marillion and fish. I'm Mezza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston.
Hello, welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Mezza, I'm here with my good friend.
It's Craig, and we're charting the single.
We are. We're charting the fishy singles, though, for something different.
Yes, and we're doing it slightly differently because chronologically, technically, the season's end singles started first in the August. But now we're being nice. Unlike AMI, we're letting fish go first.
Okay. We have a plethora of guests for these podcasts for you. It's one of our mini pods, but we welcome back to the podcast Stephen Wicks. Hi, Stephen, and Mikie Kay.
Hi.
Hi, Mikey. I'm Mark McCormac.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Mark. And Kieron Buxton.
Evening.
Hi, Kieron. And we welcome for the first time the keyboard player and the guitar player from Still Marillion, Stuart Clyde.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for inviting me along.
Hi, Stuart. Welcome.
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 Thank you.
So, we're here to talk about Fish's first solo single, State of Mind. It was released on the 16th of October, 1989. Somebody's already waving a 12-inch at me. Thank you for that, Kieron.
And that's a single, I hope you realise. He's not banging.
No. Yeah, that was a long way away, I'm not sure. There is a Wikipedia entry for this track. So the Wikipedia entry is, State of Mind is the debut solo single by Scottish singer Fish. It was released in October 1989, about a year after his departure from Marillion, and preceding the release of his first solo album, Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors. It is also the first ever record Fish did outside of Marillion, except for his 1986 collaboration with Tony Banks on the single Shortcut to Somewhere from Banks' solo album Soundtracks. Do you want to talk a little bit about the background to this release? Because this is well in advance of Vigil's release.
Yeah, because the album had been put back on purpose by AMI. So the Marillos had a chance of getting out there first. So Fish was going, look, I need to do something. I need to make a presence. I need to be seen. So I'm going to go out and spend a ridiculous amount of money on a long tour of the Highlands and Islands back down to the UK. So I need to have something out to promote it. So hence the first single came out a good 4 or 5 months before the album.
Yeah.
And it's a corker. I love it.
Well, thanks for that. You've shot your load there, haven't you?
Well, I'm a man of a certain age.
And that's the podcast, folks. All these other people are just looking on, yeah. Yeah, it's... and I mean, it was a continuation of Mark Wilkinson's artwork, and I did catch Fish on the tour, so, I saw him in Leeds on the tour. So it was nice to have something out. I think stylistically it's very different from what I was expecting, but we'll probably come on to that when we talk about the track, Craig, rather than giving an overall view now.
Yeah, but it's like I say, it came out on a pile of formats, and one format for the first time, which was a cassette single, which had never been done by like Marillion or anything beforehand. Mikey, cassette singles were fairly new around about 89, weren't they? They weren't. They came out
Fairly new.
CD singles were always first.
I mean, cassette singles you can date back as early as 85, 86. Well, 86 probably was when the first one started coming out.
Earlier than that, yeah.
But you'd be restricted to certain types of bands that were guaranteed to sell. At this point in the charts, there were no major restrictions other than, I believe, the time. So I think it was somewhere between 20, 25 minutes. I could be completely proven wrong there, but I think it was 20. But there was no restriction on the amount of formats. There was no restriction on which formats counted towards the charts and which ones didn't. So if a song was doing particularly well, the record company would go on to press further editions, whatever. The format back in them days was usually 3 or 4, and if it did well, pump out more.
So
first time on cassette. So you would actually get the A and the B side,
which was mirrored the
each
7-inch
side.
single. Yeah, it was mirrored the 7-inch single.
Just the edit, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
was,
with this lot, he had the cassette single, 7-inch, 12-inch picture disc, a standard 5-inch CD, and also in Europe they had a 3-inch CD single as well, which had same tracks on as
Not
the 5-inch CD.
Not listed on Discogs, that.
Yeah, but it existed. It was Europe only. And
it's not listed on Discogs, so
it does exist.
Have you seen it? Have you seen
Seen
it?
it? I've seen it.
It's not on Discogs. Doesn't exist if it's not on Discogs.
It exists. So we had on it, on the 7-inch cassette, there was State of Mind Edit and The Voyeur, which was album track. Now, was The Voyeur on the vinyl of Vigil, or was it a bonus track?
Yeah. I'm sure it was.
Oh, not on the vinyl.
No, it wasn't on the vinyl.
No, it's not on the vinyl. So that was basically the same as what happened with After Me on Season's End.
Yeah.
Where it was on the vinyl. The 12-inch had the presidential mix, which is longer, 5 minutes 48, which I do like the presidential mixes.
Can we just step back a bit, because we haven't actually talked about the song yet?
I know, but these are the formats. So yeah, so the CD had State of Mind album version, Voyeur, and the presidential mix. So there you go. That was how it was out.
Does anybody have any recollections about how they felt when they first heard it? Because obviously it was off the back of the split.
Yeah, I was very much looking forward to it. I presumed it'd be a harder, rockier kind of a song, something like The Who that he was always yabbering on about, you know?
Yeah.
But it was very different. I remember buying it, loving the sleeve, and putting it on and just loving the bass line from the start. John Gibbon, what a bass player he was.
Yeah.
Sadly gone now, but I knew his work from a lot of people, especially Kate Bush and stuff. But I loved it, and as the lyric is just brilliant, as the whole album turned out to be. Like lyrically, it's a real high point in his career. Probably better than anything he did in Marillion, even, I would say, you know.
Wow.
I read the lyrics now, they stand up, don't they? Don't trust alternatives. Not that I'm paranoid, just the way it is. I mean, it could be written last week, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, you got View from the Hill, Big Wedge, State of Mind. I mean, politically,
I think
he's so the money for what's going on in the world at the moment.
Yeah, and the B-side, Voyeur, that almost predated 24-hour news cycle and all the internet and how we're in each other's pockets all the time online. That's very much about that, isn't it, as well? And that could have been written, last week as well. It's both are fantastic lyrics, real high points for it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that struck me most about it was the difference in sound and feel from the way that anything had gone before with Marillion, especially with that opening fretless bass riff. It was driving the whole thing. Not heard anything led by the bass since Chelsea Monday, many years before. And that addition of the kind of percussion as well as the drums, the kind of the percussion backing, really driving the tempo, driving the feel. It was almost a statement to me that this is not Marillion, this is something very different. You've got the recognisable timbre of Fish's voice, of course, but the actual music driving the background was noticeably different to what had gone before. I thought it was really refreshing.
Kieron?
I think if you release this today, it would just be perfect for everything that's going on in politics and the way things are. It's just like you knew it then, and it hasn't changed. I love the artwork. It was the first thing I saw of Fish on his own, and I've still got the same one I bought then.
Yeah. Well, we'll go into the formats in a bit more detail in a minute. Mikey, what do you think of the track itself?
State of Mind, I think, is absolutely wonderful, as is the entire album. I didn't actually buy this when it first came out. The first single that I bought of his was Big Wedge on day of release. Freak was the one that shoehorned me into getting this, because I was like, oh no, I'm not really bothered, wasn't really on board with Marillion until Season's End came out, so it was a bit of a hodgepodge time for me. But I just wish that he hadn't released it as his first single. I love the presidential mix. I think it's fantastic. I think it just expands on the album version. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
It just puts
I
instrumental
think,
breaks between the verses, though, doesn't it? It just spreads it out.
it just gives. I think it just gives it some more atmosphere and some breathing space. And you know, in the late 80s, early 90s, extended versions were de rigueur. So I don't think he was doing anything extraordinary. And it was nice to continue what he'd kind of done in the past with Marillion and extended versions from Misplaced Childhood and stuff like that. It was like you have said, guys, it was the same but different. You know, you had the power of Fisher's voice carrying this music, which wasn't so massively removed from Marillion, yet completely new ground at the same time. But I think sometimes Fisher's been victim of just picking the wrong songs at the wrong time to either lead an album, or there's been something going on politically, or something that the BBC or other radio stations or TV stations like MTV just will go, we're not playing this because it's got political content. Now people wouldn't bat an eyelid. But back in 1989, you couldn't get away with it. And he shot himself in his foot again by putting this out as a first single with the opening line, I don't trust the government. I wholeheartedly agree with him. I think everything that he says in this song is absolutely, top-notch stuff. But as an opening venture into your solo career, I think it was a bit dangerous.
I think I know which track you would probably have picked, but if he'd have led with, I think Big Wedge needed to be the forerunner for the album, so it needed to come out just before the album. If he'd have released Big Wedge in the October, by the time Vigil came out, if he then put this out as a lead single to Vigil, I don't think that would have worked.
Well, I actually think The Voyeur is a strong enough song on its own to be a single.
But you've got the same problem. I mean, they're not going to play a song that starts with I don't trust the government, and they're not going to play a song that's called The Voyeur, I like to watch, are they?
I think you could argue it both ways, yeah. But I mean, I was listening to Vigil today, and I actually thought the opening song, if you chop the beginning off and the pipes bit in the middle, you could actually have Vigil as a single. It's got a very uplifting chorus, a bit like the Company does, where you've got this sing-along kind of mentality to it. And I think that's where State of Mind lacks. It's atmospheric, it's wonderful, it's lyrically deep, but is it single material? I'm not quite sure.
Stephen, what do you make of it?
So yeah, I mean, I guess I know what people say I'm not like Marillion, but if you compare it to Hooks and You, it's more like Marillion than Hooks and You was. And if the attitude was let's protect the fan base, Fish was very vocal about the reasons why he left and what he thought about it, and from the outside it looked like he was kind of splitting the fans. It certainly did with me. I kind of followed Fish at least initially, and from the style of music, I think that sounds like more fitting with certainly with something that I was expecting from Fish Stock Marillion than Hooks and You. And there was very much competition between the two, as we already alluded to. So yeah, I think there's more than one reason why you issue a single. One is to try and get a hit and try and get radio play, but another might be an advert for the existing fan base. So don't worry, guys, don't scare the horses. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Me, and that's the impression I get coming from the single, and it is a fantastic song. It's one of my favourite Fish songs. Full stop for all of it said.
Okay. Stuart, anything else you want to say before I go to Craig?
Yeah, I think the just what Stephen said there just now about the style of the music being closer to Marillion than perhaps Hooks and You was is exactly right. But they've kind of played a clever trick there in that the arrangement of the music in that it's pretty much verse, chorus, instrumental, chorus to fade is very singly. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got something that's going to appeal to somebody that hasn't heard it before because the format is very single-esque, but the content, the actual style is quite reminiscent of Marillion. So it's kind of best of both worlds there for me.
Okay. Craig?
I've loved it since I first heard it. So and again, like we've got, me and John have got an absolute running joke we have for years where we both love the song, but the second that Fish is going to play it live, we're away like a shot. Because they've never played it straight, and it needs to be played straight. You don't want to hear Bullet in the back for like 16 times, and an extended version that lasts an hour and a half. You know, I mean that the worst versions back in was in '95 where I think it was half a gig.
Yeah.
It just went on. But back to the single, I think I agree with Stuart and with Stephen and everybody. I think it is a good driving song. It doesn't. If you look at what was actually out at the time in '89, there's nothing like it. It is quite a singular piece of music that there's nothing like it in the charts, nothing where you could say, oh, it sounds exactly like this or exactly like that. It's its own beast. And is it the most commercial thing or anything like that? No, but I think as a single, as a package between the video, the artwork, the whole kit and caboodle, I love it.
Okay. I have to say there's something in what Mikey said. I remember at the time being quite disappointed with it, as I was with Hooks in You as well. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. I was more impressed with The Voyeur. That was more the style I was expecting him to go in. And so that kind of gave me a bit of hope that it wasn't going off left field. But I don't think it is a single at all. I think Mikey's right. I think it's a great album track, but not the strongest single. But again, there's something in what Stephen said about getting something out to say to the fans, I'm still here. You know, the other lot might have put their album out, but I'm still here.
But it's noticeable that there was no Top of the Pops performance of this. There's not a lot of what you would have had general push by there's no big push by the record label to go, ta-da!
How did it do in the charts, Mikey? Do you know?
Yeah, came in at 32, went down to 36, then 58, and then out.
That's probably why there was no Top of the Pops then. Yeah,
it was never.
Interestingly, it was actually the third highest entry the week it came out at number 32, and directly above him was the second highest new entry, which was Luther Vandross. So it's not like anything major got released that week that he was fighting against. He was fighting against the mainstays that were already in the charts. And obviously, as you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s, stuff hung around for weeks and weeks and weeks if it was, particularly popular. I mean, like Craig said earlier on, the charts were as eclectic as hell. And when you've got, I'm not going to read out the entire lot, but at number 9, you had Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. At 6, you had Cher's Right. If I Could Turn Back Time. Get my teeth in. Sorry. Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time. At 5, you had Black Box Ride on Time. At number 2, Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You, Milli Vanilli. And the number 1 spot was Jive Buddy and the Master Mixers.
Yeah. He's better off. He's better off not being amongst that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but what?
30. Yeah.
Yeah.
32.
But hold on a second. That's up at the top end of the charts. Let's get a ladder and go down near the bottom of the charts. Right? In at number 70, then. Hold on. Number 70 then is Elton John with Sacrifice, the initial release of it. And that only went up to number 55. This is before it was put together with Healing Hands as a double A side and got to number 1. This is the initial release of it. So you've got.
So I helped you get to number 70. Woo!
Yeah. I've got the 7-inch single of it. So it's funny where Fish, we're complaining about Fish being this low, but with Elton John, with something that would become a staple of his catalogue, only coming in at 70, then going up to 55. That's a bit of an eyebrow raiser.
Kieron, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, when it was released, it wasn't as if it was ever aimed to bring new fans in.
No,
it was definitely put out to appeal to those of us who already like Marillion and just wanted to see him and them doing new stuff.
Yeah. Should we talk about?
I remember the tour. I remember how gorgeous the T-shirt was for the tour because it was the artwork off.
Wasn't it? Yeah. I've still got it, but there's no way I can get in it now. Not a chance.
Turn into a bear. They're lovely.
Fish crop tops. They're all the rage.
Yeah, I mean, I was just glad to have something coming out from him, because I remember how upset I was when they split up. So it was just nice to know there was something coming.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave a bit of an idea of what the album would be like, even though the album, there's much, much better tracks on the album.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we talk about the I Like to Watch, The Voyeur? Stephen, any views on that?
Yeah, I think it was current, quite offbeat. The middle section is a bit Marillion-ish. He interestingly opened with it when he did the album tour. So the first tour for the single, he started with Faith Healer, which we perhaps get on to. But he opened it, came on stage on some Manchester Apollo with a balaclava on. You know, he could live the sort of role, and I think it was a solid B-side. And for me, it was no surprise he went on the CD, and because it is as good a track as you get on the album, I think.
Okay, Stuart.
From a musician's point of view, listening to the Voyeur or trying to play the Voyeur, especially when you've spent your entire life up to that point of time playing Marillion stuff, and for me personally playing Mark's material, playing stuff by Mikie Simmons, it was a completely different ball game. So in as much as it still sounds quite proggy and Marillion-esque, actually when you get into the bones of being able to play it, it's really, really different to play, and it requires a whole new way of thinking and a whole new style of playing. And I know that's not just keyboard playing, because I've spoken with Mark in Still Marillion about that as well, and he said that playing Frank's parts is completely different from playing Steve's. So in as much as it's still familiar territory and instantly recognizable as Fish, and we love it, playing wise, it's a completely different ball game and a great challenge.
We shall come on to that again in another episode very shortly, I'm sure. Mark, any views on the Voyeur?
The same view as you, John. I love the B-side, and I thought, yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear from Fish. It was up-tempo, lyrically brilliant again, and it's what I wanted to hear, and I was really looking forward to the album.
Yeah.
And I have that there. It's the Voyeur.
Ooh, Townhouse promo.
That's the take, yeah.
Yeah, nice. You always win when we play top trumps like that, don't you? Kieron, what do you think of the Voyeur?
No, I like it. It's a lovely track. I was just looking at who's on, who the personnel are on State of Mind and that. And I didn't realise that Louis Jardim and then we're on that.
Well, yeah, John Keeble's on it.
Yeah.
Louis Don Lajardin. Rest in peace. Craig's mate, yeah, he's on there. Hal Lindis from Dire Straits, obviously, he's on the album. He's on this as well. Carol Kenyon's on backing vocals on State of Mind. Didn't know that.
That's a proper group, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Mikey, what do you think of the Voyeur?
Well, as I've already said, I think it's A-side quality stuff.
Yeah.
And back in '89, as I've said on many occasions, I didn't possess a CD player. So the vinyl of the album was my only go-to. So in order for me to listen to The Voyeur, I had to pay the 12-inch single. So that was always a bit of a gripe, but there's nothing really on Vigil that I would take off for the Voyeur to kind of sit in its place.
No.
I don't think anything's deserving to lose its place for that, but I think it's as strong as anything else on the album, which is a shame that it wasn't on the vinyl. But yeah, I think it's absolutely top-notch stuff. Beats the A-side hands down as a single for me. But honestly, I can't fault either track. Really can't.
Craig, the Voyeur? Not you, the track.
Oh.
Craig in brackets the Voyeur.
That's because that's possibly the worst kept secret, isn't it?
Yeah, your secret's out, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't wear sunglasses for nothing. No, I think especially it's a really good live track as well. It's got some power, it's got some energy to it, and I think it fits well with the whole theme of the album, and it works as a B-side for me.
Yeah.
So, thumbs up there.
Kieron's already talked about the artwork, but I think it's one of. I think it's a great piece of work from Mark. You know, the two faces that staring at the hourglass.
It's his sister-in-law and it's his brother-in-law as well.
Is it? Look at that.
It's Julie's the woman is Julie Wilkinson's sister and her husband. So there you go.
And then the back sleeve is just the hourglass smashing again, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's art, and
I've always loved that. I think it's really striking.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff like that is just designed for t-shirts and for 12-inch singles and stuff, really, isn't it? It's just it fits the formats perfectly.
Well, I think after having seen Season's End, to see Fish then come out with some Mark Wilkinson stuff was reassuring, really, as a fan.
Yeah, I didn't like
a bit of needed continuation, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm saying it was a bit of needed continuation.
Yeah, a bit of continuity. Yeah. And the video. Has anybody watched the video recently?
Black and white round the table. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
made for £2.50, but still looks really nicely made.
Well,
it fits.
It's Fish playing chess, isn't it? You know, and
with slightly oversized chess pieces, with an old king and queen looking very tatty, and it just fits it perfectly. When you've got silhouette backgrounds of like cannons and warfare and everything going on behind it, it's well concepted.
I don't ever remember seeing it back in the day.
No, I don't think you would. I mean, it's not a striking video. If you put that with the first line of the song, it's never gonna open any doors, was it really?
No.
I'm trying to think when the first time I saw it. I think I might have seen it roughly once or twice on MTV, and I don't think I really saw it properly until the Kettle of Fish DVD came out in video back in.
I don't think you saw it on MTV. First of all, it was a black and white video, and as I've discussed,
yeah, they don't like them.
Unless you were Madonna or Chris Isaac, they wouldn't play black and white videos. And also you had sort of like when you mentioned the thing about the silhouettes in the background, you got crucifixes and sort of like papal figures and stuff. It wasn't going to win any favors with anybody. I think back in the day, Craig, I think we might have caught about 15 seconds of it on the chart show or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't think I actually saw the video in full until the Kettle of Fish release came out. I had no recollections of it back in the day whatsoever.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've ever seen
it.
It's on the Blu-ray in the new boxes. So
yeah, but I'd have to undo them then to watch.
Have you not opened them?
No, because I've listened to the vinyl.
They're worth it for the documentaries alone.
Yeah, but I've got all of them to watch still.
That's a whole separate podcast of Kieron opening his records. Breaking the seal. I think we're done, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll be along very shortly with another mini pod about Fish's second solo single. But for now, thank you to Stuart Clyde.
Cheers.
Cheers, Stuart. Thank you, Kieron.
Cheers.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mikey.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Cheerio.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you very much. See everybody in about 2 minutes on the next episode.
Good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
Go on, Mikey, you do it.
Stay alive.
Thank you very much, I'm sure. Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot for all the good stuff.